This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. All right, folks. Once again, this is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening or watching to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. And in the words of the great Kevin Samuels,
we are back. Shout out to the CIA, the confident, intelligent, and assertive men out there. One love for the FBI, the feminine, beautiful, inspirational ladies.
yeah, shout out to the CIA and the FBI. And also a shout out to Sister Millie from the West Coast.
Come on, man.
Okay, well, maybe not. All right. No shout out to Sister Millie from the West Coast, but a shout out to Sister Millie from the West Coast, if you know what I mean.
Aha.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I want to give a shout out to new subscriber, Rob Kubo. Hopefully I said that, Rod Kubo. Just make sure I said that right. I'm saying it twice. Tessie's been ragging me about going through all these names. So I'm going to try to do something different today. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. But of course, a shout out to usual suspects that watch and comment. Appreciate you guys, especially out there. Pedro Falcone, Milton Gonzalez, Sister Millie from the West Coast, V, Rada, Submissive Wife, Jaria, and all those other folks out there. If you comment, just give me a holler, and I'll definitely shout you out the next episode. I just like to pay homage to those who keep me alive on the show here. And I really do this podcast for those who watch. And sometimes it's a lot of people, and sometimes, you know, how that goes. Not every show is going to be a hit, but I do my best each and every time. But thank you all for who support, and I appreciate it. And I'll have something to do down the road with you guys as we grow, as this channel grows, and hopefully we can get into other things. But thank you. All right, folks. So I'm about to get into this Kevin Samuels real fast. Last week we did Kendra G. I didn't really check the ratings for that. I've been trying to be organic and just record with the anticipation that those who love the show will continue to watch. I know it's a little difficult competing with people who just repost. And I know a lot of people have an appreciation for seeing reposts of Kevin's videos because they're easy to find, because you just chop them right there on the screen and get to the individual conversation versus like a whole big drawn out video with reactions. But of course, me personally, I was one of those people who actually reached out to Kevin, and his comment and response was he didn't mind reaction. He just didn't want people to go overboard and playing the whole videos and stuff like that. So I've been trying to keep to that agreement, even though he's not alive anymore. I know people, they sort of threw everything out the window and they're reposting videos, which I know he particularly hated. But here I am trying to respect his wishes in terms of not trying to replay his videos to become viral or get viewers or stuff like that, which a lot of people have done, but I'm trying not to do that. So I'm going to get into this video here. And the video is from June 30th, 2021. And this is She Can Get By, But Not Keep. And this is an IG live video. And it starts into 14 minutes and 26 seconds, and it goes until 30 minutes and 20 seconds approximately. So we're going to go to that video right now. I have it queued up. I'll start the sound first, and then we'll hit the video. Oops, hold on.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okie dokie. We're talking about keeping versus getting, or getting versus keeping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do this. What do you got?
Well, I feel like in the Black community, us Black women, we definitely have a problem with being vulnerable and being submissive when the time is right with a guy. So it's hard to keep somebody when you're constantly bucking at them. You can't let a man be a man, and you're trying to take that role as well. So I agree with that.
Were you raised with your mother and father, or just were you raised with one parent like most of us?
Um, in the beginning, for my first couple of years, it was my mom and my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and then they separated. So it was more of a
I mean,
co-parenting type thing.
and do you have any siblings?
Yeah, 2 older brothers and now 2 younger sisters.
Okay, so would you like to be married one day?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Ooh.
You're like, yeah.
It's I only say it like that because again, in today's day and age, it's very complicated. Not a
No,
lot of
it's
people
not.
are getting serious like that.
No, it's not.
See, I am always my bullshit detector goes off on high alert when I hear women say into this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because you're evolutionary
stupid.
evolved to be what you are, regardless of the day and age. Can a female of the species survive without the group? No. Women need men.
I agree.
So is it that you don't want to be married? Or are you afraid
I'm afraid to get married again because of
that? So what are you afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say the trials and tribulations, but that is part of it because
Okay. Okay.
I've seen what
When
my
you
mom went through,
okay.
and
Now
I've always based off like what
what
as
they
I was
went through,
growing up, I wanted to do the opposite and become the opposite
do
and kind
you
of.
now without getting too personal,
Hmm.
were your mother and father's situation money motivated? Was it like the most people? Or was there like domestic violence where there was really violence or drugs or anything involved?
Um, I could say it was a mixture of financial
And
problems,
Okay.
and also infidelity.
Okay. Due respect, this is why I think
Nah, B.
women go wrong. I've
awry.
said it before. That's none of your child's place. How do
It's
you
really
know any?
not.
But how do
I
you know? But my thing is, unless you walked in on your mother or father with somebody, you wouldn't know they're cheating. If there are money problems, why do you know if they didn't share that with you?
and I was gonna say that unfortunately it was shared with me, and I did not ask for that
Which
information.
parent does your mother share with you?
No,
Mm-mm.
my
Your
My
father.
dad.
father did?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and see, this is the burden of sharing this kind of stuff with kids. You said they were co-parents. Did your
Yeah.
mother remarry?
No, my dad married definitely,
Okay.
but my
So
mom didn't.
so the person who had infidelity, which is your father or your mother?
It was my dad.
Okay. But he remarried.
Yeah,
How did you find out about the infidelity? Who told you that?
my dad.
Okay. Did he tell you that is the reason that they're no longer married?
Hmm.
All right. So I'll give a little leeway. A parent has to give a reason why the kids are divorced. I wouldn't have gone to that level of detail.
I agree with that. I'm just gonna stop it real quickly here. So here's the problem, and this is where the failure goes between parents to children. For some reason, parents want to project their circumstances to their children, and I'm not sure why they do that. There's nothing wrong with making someone aware of circumstances, but I never hear people say the positive side of relationships and choosing wisely, and that's a problem. And I know it's so easy because we're trying to survive out here, most of us, and most of us are not independently wealthy. And even those who are wealthy tend to live busy lives. And sometimes we miss the nuances of explaining relationships to our kids. But here's the thing, you got to let people know that nothing is foolproof, but the ability to succeed in a relationship depends on the choice you make up front and not later on in life, because the later you do and the later you apply making proper choices, the less likely you're already going to have squandered years by. And then the pickings are slim in terms of suitable relationships. And plus, you're jaded. But let's continue.
Tell, but your father remarried. Your mother, did you ever see her date anybody?
Yeah, and
No or yes?
I did. I definitely did, and that was kind of the problem for me growing up. Was
Meaning her boyfriends?
what I seen. It wasn't a great example.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I tried to just do the opposite of what I seen, and
But you're not.
Okay.
or
Well,
try to steer away from what.
one big problem is people of this generation involve kids and grown folks' business, and it puts you.
Yeah.
So this is where therapy comes into it. But here's the reality:
Mm-hmm.
your mother and father's problems don't sound like anything that you can't find in any neighborhood in this world,
Exactly.
or any time period in history.
That's true.
If you don't get married, 28, did you go to college?
Yes.
What's your degree in?
Business administration. I'm going for my bachelor's next.
Okay. So what are you planning on doing for a profession?
I want to work in a recording label, as in the
Okay.
marketing team. That's what I'm going for my bachelor's for marketing and
Okay. So
communication.
how much do you think you will earn annually at the height of your career?
At the height, I would hope at least over 50,000 a year. I would hope.
Okay. I ran a simulation that if a woman was working a job making $50,000 a year from 25 to age 55, no stops, no breaks, and received a cost of living raise 3% every year, 25 to 65, and she retired at 65 and had a life expectancy to 85. That means she had to live 20 years. That woman would have a shortfall of almost $800,000 in her retirement. It's going to take $2.9 million to live from 65 to 85. What I'm saying, young lady, is you're going to college and doing all this work to get a middle income job. And if you don't marry, who's going to pay your bills and help you in your golden years if you don't have a husband, insurance, children? Because dogs can't do it and girlfriends can't
Yeah,
do
no.
it. So the fear of being marriage, I need you and I need women to hear. If you are an average earner, marriage is not an option. It is a necessity. And it has been marketed to you as an option to be chosen to not do out of fear. Well, then what's the option after you're 45 and you're just making $50,000 a year? That ain't no money.
Yeah, no, it's not. So I completely agree. I believe in there needs to be a man in the house and there needs to be gender roles. I believe in all of that. It's
But
just
if you're scared,
scary.
I don't know what should be scary
It's
is
doing
you
it
eating.
alone.
No, what should be scary is trying to live from 65 to 85. You will need $2.9 million.
Yeah,
I need you to understand how big of a number that is. Older women, older people cost more.
true.
Your insurance, your medications, all these things, you cost more. So what should be scary is the notion of if I don't have a husband, then what are you going to do? Go live with your girlfriend or your sister? Because you're going to have to, and that's what's happening right now. Women are starting to end up living with other women.
And I
That,
was watching your live and I said that to my friend. I was saying a lot of nowadays, a lot of people just rather roommate, and it's it's weird.
it's because you ladies are the ones that have our divorce rate in our community is approaching 60%, but almost 90% of divorces in the Black community are filed by Black women.
Mm-hmm.
80% of divorces are filed by women. Women are not staying in relationships anywhere. When a divorce happens, it's usually the woman filing. And why are women filing? Because you've been told.
Let me stop there. And it's true because you know what? Let me play it a little bit and then respond to it.
That life is better single, or you could have other options. But the way you've talked about it, you're afraid of marriage. I want a world to where women like you are far more afraid to be single, living on cat food.
So now let me stop it there because he was, I started to react to something, but then I kind of wanted to get the end of that sentence of what he was saying. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Uh, Young people are set up for a life of being single. And there's no real instructions on how to succeed in relationships in terms of getting married or something like that, because now people think they should live together in this civil union or common law, whatever people want to call it these days, having a wife without having a wife or a husband without having a husband. But what I see now is young people are encouraged to really find themselves. But to be honest, I don't know why it's taking someone to be 30 years old to find themselves out. The reality is we live in an updated society, right? We live in an updated society where, people are having to adjust to a difference in lifestyle, which is somewhat messy over the years, aside from traditional relationships. But you got to find traditional common points in terms of getting in a relationship, and finding yourself and getting your bag doesn't really help long-term in relationships. That's what the real problem is. People disregard relationships, and then when they go through the bad ones that they seem to let in, then it's after all of that, they want a good person. But by that time, why would a good person want them? Most of the times they don't look great, or most of the times they're just jaded and angry, and they're just not suitable for marriage or serious relationships.
Because
I'm afraid of both, honestly, but I'm more afraid of being by myself for sure.
But you're already
all
doing
right, well,
that.
if that's the case, then what are you doing to overcome your negative programming in your childhood and because you're 28 years old, man, you are firmly in the danger zone.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to hit the
I know.
wall in 2 years,
I know.
and you don't. Time is starting to run out.
I know. I was just telling my friend that.
Your friend, but I'm talking to you. I can't talk. So this is why I talk about the danger zone. This is when you ladies need to really get real crystal clear on what you want and do something about it.
Yep.
Because at 35, options start getting taken off the table.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said dating.
I've said this before. Have you ever seen a show called The Golden Girls?
No.
Okay, you're dating who? Go ahead.
I'm dating someone right now. He does live in a different state.
Stupid.
But
when's the last time you had a relationship?
About 5 years ago.
That's not acceptable.
Nope.
In a relationship
that's why I didn't want to say it.
A relationship. How old is the man out of state?
He's younger than me.
Then obviously it's not real. You're playing. And this is why I'm being very serious. You don't have time to play. This is not a joke to me. It's not a game to me. I'm looking at another statistic. Another black woman who is likely going to be unmarried, no children, no family, another not made family. Mm-hmm. Because you ladies, you said you're going to go to college, right?
Yes, I'm going for my bachelor's.
To go make $50,000 in marketing.
What you talking about?
I would feel like that. I would probably start with that. Now that I look back at.
No, ma'am. Marketing doesn't pay any. No, I come from corporate sales. Marketing, you need to see. This is what I mean. Remember when I said when black women don't know what to do, they run to school. School is the black woman's husband. If the job ain't, that's where y'all run. You run to school like it's God, like it's I'm gonna hide in school, go spend money to get a degree in communications and marketing, which is a worthless degree.
Is it?
Worthless. It's worthless. Science, engineering, technology, math, business administration, business marketing, business administration, business management, marketing, communications, all worthless. You go get an entry-level job somewhere that's paying about $30,000, $35,000 entry level at 30 years old. But you got to go into debt to do that.
True.
So I am more disturbed that Black women have been told that makes the most sense to go into college debt than to go get your head right and become a wife and find a husband. Y'all prepare to live life alone. That's what you're doing, whether you admit it or not. I had a relationship for
agree.
5 years. I got a long distance relationship. I'm gonna go to college so I could use college as a shield to keep men away from me. And I am going to, and then I'll say I'm busy doing this so-called recording job, making $50,000 a year, and you look up and you're 50 years old. And when the
No, I now that you say it, it's
but the fact that
I agree.
matters, I'm saying it, and I'm the only person that's saying it. The
Mm-hmm.
Golden Girls. 4 elderly women.
I've seen that.
living
Okay,
with,
I've never watched the show, but I've definitely
this is
seen that.
I'm gonna break this down tomorrow. This is Black women's future. Because there is absolutely no reason for I'm gonna just say this, man. What you saw is, I can't tell you your pain, but it doesn't sound abnormal. But to have you almost, it's like Black women have relationship anaphylactic shock. To all my medical people, you know what I'm talking about. Black women have anaphylactic shock when it comes to men, Black men. Y'all have a hyper allergic reaction to commitment with a Black man. Anaphylactic shock is when you see somebody get stung by a bee and they die.
No,
That's how y'all tend to act when a marriage or a relationship. Oh God, I saw something happen. Oh, it's gonna kill me. So I'd rather go to college. Thank you for being honest with me. You can't avoid if you want to avoid relationship, you better be making high 6 figures.
No, I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm definitely not trying to avoid it. I'm definitely trying to work through it and get better.
Well, the thing is,
well, this video is almost all over. Before we get to the end part of this, I just had to stop it right there. And that's a common misconception that people, especially ladies, have when it comes to relationships. I'm working on it, but when do you finish? I know so many women that in their 30s and they know closer today than they were yesterday when it comes to relationships. And they say they're working on themselves, but they're doing something else. And what they do is they cheat the men who are truly interested for someone who excites them and gets their body in motion, gets them excited, gets their juices flowing. And then they want to deal with that guy. But that guy often, in the long run, doesn't want to be with them. And so by the time they figure that out and they've invested time in a useless relationship or a baseless relationship, then the guy who really would like something comes along, they're not interested. And then usually sometime later when they're looking for someone, they've aged out, in their late 40s, having health conditions where having children is just a little bit difficult, stuff like that. And then they expect men to be interested in with the same, I can't say that again, with the same high interest that they would have gotten when they were like in their 20s and maybe early 30s when they were young and they were able to have families and get married. But you're in your 40s and 50s now, and you want a man to take a gamble on that, possibly not being able to have any children. If he doesn't have children and wants more, it's a sad thing. I remember meeting a woman a long time ago, and this was before I, came into my own. But I'll never forget, I met a woman. She was a little bit older. She had 2 kids. I was interested in her, and she was very full of drama. But to make a long story short, what I didn't know at that time and had found out eventually after the relationship didn't work out, I would have never had kids with her. And I didn't have children at the time, but I would have never had kids with her because she was unable to have children. And she at that time was, I think, in her 30s. I wasn't quite 30 yet, but I didn't know that. And if I would have invested in a relationship with her, I would have eventually found out that she couldn't have kids. And if I would have stayed with her, I wouldn't have had any children. So that goes to show you how sometimes the things work out and they're always not fair. Seldom they are.
I hear you say that now, but I don't hear anything in your life before this. I hear college and just I watch YouTube videos. Now, if you're really trying to work to get it better, there'd be counseling, there'd be therapy, you'd be investing money and trying to get my mind right to understand why. I look around and I see my counterparts, my non-black counterparts at my age, and over half of them are married. Even if they got little bitty rings on, they're married.
I
But you
agree
look
with
at
the therapy. I even spoke with my mom about that. And again, with the Black community, I don't know why, but therapy is looked down upon. So when I
you can't
told,
you're okay. Stop talking to your mama.
definitely, because I know that's one of my problems. I know. I
This is
know.
a
You're a grown damn
certified
woman. Stop
hood
talking to your
classic.
mama. Stop looking for permission to get your shit together.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because your mama, due respect, is not the one that
Already.
got to be married. Your
I
father
was going to
did.
say
So
already
whether
the
he
case.
cheated or not
You
or
already
whatever,
said it.
he's gone about his business. And unfortunately, the world likes y'all single, alone, and spending money. That's the world likes it that way.
I agree.
So if you're looking for, what did I say? Single women keep women single. It's because the anaphylactic shock response to a marriage.
Yeah.
So it's not the current state of men; it's the current state of women.
Women.
Mm-hmm. You.
I agree.
Because by your own experience, your dad remarried, right?
Yes.
Your mom had the same opportunities out in the market.
Definitely
So,
did.
all right, appreciate it, Mom.
Thank you.
Bye bye. You know, I'm
Bye.
And that's the end of the video there. It's very interesting. She was a very nice conversation. She didn't try to argue with him, but clearly she had some things going on with her that Kevin was really trying to put her on to. And of course, this is almost 2 years ago, this video was, and hopefully things have changed for her by now. But the truth of the matter is, it seldom does. And I know a lot of women that they're talking the same old game that they were talking in their 20s, in their 30s, and now they're in their 40s, some of them even 50s, and nothing has changed except for age and sometimes the body features. They have aged, they look aged, they've gained weight, and then they're looking for somebody that they want to be on the top of the line, but they're not on the top of the line. It's sad, but what can you do, right? All right, folks, it's time for the braces, and I'll be out. Relationship braces, bringing hearts together one heart at a time. 28-year-old lady who is asking mother for permission for therapy. What could I tell you so that you could figure it out and find your own way to love? All right, truth of the matter is, as I'm saying once again, it is all important on allowing yourself to meet the kind of man, to meet the kind of person you would like to be with. And how do you do that? Social cues are very important. And women are great at social cues when they want to. To finesse a man, women often put out great stops. They go to great lengths to finesse a man out of his wallet. But if you finesse the man in a good way, I'm not saying finesse a man to take advantage of him, but if you finesse a man into making a step because you showed him that you're interested in him being interested in you, and give him a try, or at least get a chance to see what he's about, you have a great opportunity to have a successful relationship if you invest in getting him to get to know you. But you have to pay attention to him, and he has to be able to pay attention to you. Meeting is the most important part of relationships. Usually they say how you get them is usually how you lose them. But if you invest in not losing someone, then you have the opportunity to keep someone. And that's pretty much it. And those are the braces. All right, folks. Well, here's the deal. Keep those views going. Get those likes up if you can. The algorithm is totally messed up for me. I've been knocked out by YouTube for some reason. I know quite a few people. I stopped receiving notifications from a lot of people that I follow. YouTube has totally destroyed the algorithm for videos. So if you can get these likes up and share if you can, I know my sister V has been very helpful in that. I appreciate that. But if you can get them likes up, you watch, like, subscribe if you're not subscribing already. Do all those things. I appreciate it. Thank you. And until the next time, I am out. And this is the Truth is Still Straight podcast. And this is your host, Jonathan St. James, on the exit.